Well, does Manuka honey, one of New Zealand's premium export products, potentially come at a cost to our native insects and ecosystems? New research shows introducing high densities of non-native honeybees to Manuka shrublands changes how native invertebrates interact with the flowers they've evolved with. As demand continues to grow for New Zealand's Manuka honey, understanding and managing these ecological trade-offs is crucial, especially for conservation, landowners and the honey industry alike. Here to unpack this is Corrinne Watts, Landcare Research entomologist. So just first of all, can you explain for us, Corrinne, the key findings of the study that you've undertaken in simple terms?
Kia ora, morning, Michael. So what we did in this study is when insects walk or land on a substrate, they leave their DNA behind. So we actually looked at the DNA of Manuka flowers to see who was visiting the Manuka flowers, and honeybees seem to displace flowers by disrupting who's visiting the flower, the native insects. But the effects on the wider insect community appears to be variable depending on location.
Okay, and so why might honeybees reduce visits by native insects, and why does that matter for these ecosystems overall?
Okay, so to answer the first part of your question, it might be that honeybees deplete the nectar flowers, so our native pollinators are less interested in collecting that pollen and nectar. It could be too that the flowers just become too busy. So it's like when we go to a supermarket and we want to buy something and the car park's full, we're more likely to go, okay, we'll go to the next supermarket and buy our products there. It could just be too busy for the native pollinators. And we've got to remember too that honeybees are much, much bigger than a lot of our native pollinators. So it could be that they just push them out of the way. And also that where honeybees are, they are unusually abundant. And so that could be a problem as well. The research didn't directly look at that, but that's something that would be of interest, I think, with this new finding. And in terms of your second part of your question, native insect communities are really important for ecosystem services. So if honeybees might be having a negative impact, say preventing pollination and flower interactions, that's really important to know.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, given the importance of the Manuka honey industry commercially, what practical steps can producers take to, minimise these negative impacts?
Yeah, and that's a really good question, and I think that's probably one that the Beekeepers Association would be really well placed to answer. I think this research isn't conclusive and we need to do more study sites across the country, but I guess I would suggest that beekeepers look at low stocking rates, particularly near conservation land. So if we look at Department of Conservation, they have kind of a rule or an approach of using one honeybee hive per 3 hectares. So low stocking rates is certainly an option that the Beekeepers Association could be looking at now.
Yeah, right. So where are the other bees that are upsetting the ecosystem? I mean, where are they coming from, and why are we seeing, this increase at the moment?
Well, we've got exotic honeybees, which is what we looked at in this study, and that's what we focused on, and looking at the interactions with native insect pollinators and their communities. So yeah, we didn't really look at other bees in this situation. Okay,
so are there areas where honey production might still be compatible with conserving native insect communities, and how could that be managed?
Yeah, I think this study was interesting in the fact that our study sites were amongst diverse forest types, so in the Urewera and Tongariro National Park, and I think a lot of the Manuka honey is collected from sort of monocultures of just Manuka forest. So I think we certainly need to do some further research in those sites and across the country to get more replication and to figure out exactly what's going on. So this is just kind of indicative of what might be going on in our native ecosystems at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating stuff. Thank you very much, Corrinne Watts, Landcare Research entomologist. Well,